We don't need y'all to talk about us because we're going to talk about ourselves. We told y'all.
Well, that sucked. All right, guys. Welcome in. Titans Tube. Justin here, Jake there. Blah, blah, blah. Man, oh, man. First of all, Jake, we did not have a preview video come out last week. A lot of things happening, holidays, and lo and behold, Jake, I'm just going to throw it to you. New room. What's going on here? I'm not used to this setup.
New room coming with the new house, Justin. So on top of
yes.
Thanksgiving and the football weekend and everything else, I have been moving house. So everybody will have to forgive us for not getting out that Bengals preview. But it's a good thing we didn't put the work in, Justin, because, man, what a weird looking result on Sunday. And I guess my instant reaction, instant gut feeling was this is the same Titans team I've watched growing up. This is the same Titans team we've covered for the past 3 years. And this is the same Titans team that perfectly reels me in. I talked about it in the Green Bay recap. They're reeling me in. I'm falling back in love. All right, this team can do something special. I love this group of guys. Rug out from underneath you. They look the way they look. And this game felt like we were watching the Pittsburgh game of last year or the New England game of last year. It's just so winnable, so right there in front of us to get it done, but still somehow we step on our own toes, find a way to lose the game. And yes, I hate the Cincinnati Bengals, Justin. I was going to say. The rivalry is real. We'll see them in January for round 3. How about that?
It sounds, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to see
Maybe we don't want that.
I was going to say, you're wearing your feelings on your sleeve, or in this case, your hoodie. Interesting. I also have written down on a piece of paper. Oh,
I
no,
also hate these. Oh, no.
I'm gone. I'm lost into oblivion. We might have to cut that out. But I also hate the Cincinnati Bengals and, of course, the Colts in parentheses as well. Just, the theme of Titans Tube in this video, man. The Cincinnati Bengals come into Nashville in the same calendar year, Jake, and beat the Titans. In just frustrating, ugly fashion. 16 points, Jake. We come back after that Green Bay win with 27 points. We think things are clicking now. Maybe we've turned a corner. But really, maybe that was just a fluke. Maybe that was actually a fluke. And the real Tennessee Titans, again, we saw on Sunday with this offense, just looking pedestrian, struggling to move the football. And really, the good thing that this offense has done pretty consistently lately is taking care of the football, since Tannehill has been reinserted into the lineup, except for our only touchdown came off of a fumble. So thank goodness we did fumble. The Derrick Henry fumbling the ball in the end zone to Treylon Burks. But dude, this Titans team, man, again, like you said, rug out from under you. They had us feeling good, but man, this team cannot be trusted to get it done on a weekly basis with these players, Jake. The poorest thing, I think, if you just want to look at the stat sheet, is the Derrick Henry 17 rushes for 38 yards and the run blocking, Jake, with this offensive line, man, just did not show up. And yeah, we're seeing, I think the PFF grades came out, and dude, it was a bad performance all around. But yeah, Titans dropping to 7-4 now, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And, going off that run game, I do have to give my hats off, even though I do hate the Cincinnati Bengals. I got to give my hats off to that defense yesterday. Incredible performance against Derrick Henry. They put together a textbook, by the book game plan to shut down this Titans running game, and literally nothing was going. I think the longest rush of the game was Hilliard on a quick draw during that 2-minute drill at the end of the first half. It was an absolute display, absolute clinic, the Bengals front seven posted on Sunday. And so hats off to them. They came in, they knew how the Titans were going to operate. So does everybody in the league. And that's kind of my quip with this game. We have got to be one of the more predictable offensive teams in the league, probably the most predictable offensive team in the league. And what do we do about it? Not really anything. I love us getting Traylon Burks the ball, obviously. Traylon Burks, another great game, 4 catches, 70 yards, had the big one-on-one ball, go up and get it, Traylon. That's
Yeah.
what we've been clamoring for. But even then, and you knew that we were going to come back on 1st and 10, Derrick Henry left, and it went for -2 yards, and we're already in the hole. And so it's just so predictable, and it's the same Titans team we've been watching in more ways than one, Justin. Obviously, they have these letdown spots, especially at home, and then obviously, just from a personnel grouping standpoint, if Cody Hollister is on the field, it's going to be a run. If Jeff Swaim is on the field, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a run. The other time, we're going to throw Jeff Swaim the ball. But then, just from a personnel grouping and how they line up, and any average fan like me and you can diagnose what the Titans are going to do on a given play on offense. They might as well just hold up the big cards that say run, pass, run, pass, because it's that obvious.
And it's not necessarily a horrible thing in and of itself to be predictable as long as you can execute the plays. But these players are getting beat at the line of scrimmage. Derrick Henry just running into a brick wall. Jeff Swaim, supposed to be our blocking specialist tight end, is getting pushed time and time again in the backfield. And like you said, like that play where Tannehill, was it in the first half deep in Bengals territory? It was a 3rd down. We threw the ball first read, designed play to Jeff Swaim, who was lined up out wide. I mean, there's a lot of capable pass catchers. Like you said, Traylon Burks coming along nicely, emerging as that deep threat that this offense has sorely needed, providing us with a spark the past couple weeks. Robert Woods, he had a couple catches, but typically we can rely on Robert Woods. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine is having a great year in the receiving game for what he's able to do. Derrick Henry can catch the ball. Hilliard can catch the ball. Hooper, what about Hooper and Chegg and these guys that we've got some decent pass catching weapons. It seems like, even though the receivers have been harped on a lot this year, but things have been getting better the past couple weeks. But then to target Jeff Swaim out there, I don't know. I don't know why we try to force him to be involved in this offense. But yeah, so it's just a combination of predictability and the players not executing the plays themselves. Because even in that play that I mentioned, Tannehill threw the ball high. I mean, it could have been caught, and maybe he gets a first down. But the idea that's the play call in the first place also kind of bothers me as well. So man, pedestrian performance from the offense, particularly. Biggest stat, I know you texted me about this after the game, Jake. The biggest takeaway, 3 red zone trips for each team. Titans go 0 for 3 in the red zone, 0 touchdowns. Cincinnati goes 1 for 3. And what do you know? That one field goal that we got in exchange for the 1 touchdown that they got, is the difference, is your 20-16 ball game. So not being able to cash in. Like we did move the ball. There were some drives there in the game, but then having to settle for those 4 field goal attempts. The kicker, I can't even remember his name now, who came in. He missed the field goal at the end of the half. Yeah. I mean, he went 3 for 4 and made his extra points. I mean, sure, coming in a spot, and that's all right. But the fact that we had to settle for those field goals ended up being the difference, and was, it was our doom. Rich down.
And, they reel me in. I fall back in love with this team, Justin, and they always seem to pull the rug out in the way that they have been good at before. It was, you think back to the 2020 season, we hosted the Ravens, and it was the bad defense all year long, great offense. And then in that playoff game, okay, we got some hope brewing. It was the defense who showed up, the offense who laid the egg. Right. Last year, they just reeled you in by getting the 1 seed. They won close games. They didn't turn the ball over a whole ton. And what do they do in the playoff game? They turn the ball over, lose a close game. And then, we've heard it all year long on the broadcast, and we've watched it. We watched this Titans team score in the red zone when they get there. They are probably top 3 in the league now. Their percentage probably dropped, but I think they were number 1 for a majority of the season in converting red zone drives into touchdowns. 0 for 3 yesterday. And that's the difference between winning and losing, especially when both teams don't have any turnovers on the day. That's the difference. That's clear cut the difference in the game. You said the Bengals punched in 1 touchdown, the Titans lost by 4. There's your difference.
Yeah, and as far as the defense goes, man, it would have been nice like there's just always this one player, it seems like, well, depending on the game you look at, but T. Higgins was just that guy. You had Jamar Chase out. So they're going to be targeting, Tyler Boyd is there, but really the guy is T. Higgins. And late in the game, when the Titans really needed a stop to get the ball back for the offense, it seemed like T. Higgins would come down with the play. He had the big touchdown catch against McCreary. And where was Byard over the top? I was, maybe Byard is elsewhere on the field and Joe Burrow is throwing away from Byard, but throwing away from Byard is toward T. Higgins. So at some point you kind of get this sense we got to start drifting coverage into the guy that's been killing us right now. But honestly, the guy that was killing us was Joe Burrow. Talking about execution, man, he had some great throws down the stretch. That outside, back shoulder throw to number 16 out there on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Burrow, was clutch when he was. And dude, he's kind of becoming our Andrew Luck. This Titans team is now 0-3 against Joe Burrow. So no curses from the Andrew Luck. The Andrew Luck curse, hopefully he's not transitioning over to Joe Burrow. Thank goodness we're not in that division. But, man, yeah, he just has our number. He plays, he plays well. I thought he played well on Sunday, closing out that game. But, you like still what the defense gave you. You give up 20 points to the Cincinnati team. You would hope that that's enough, and it should be enough in the NFL in this day and age to win a football game. You're happy with 20 points being given up. At the end of the day, though, how many sacks did we have? How many turnovers did we have? The defense didn't make that boom play, really, that could really take over and kind of flip the script of the game. I don't know. Kind of breaking down offense and defense. Defense was good, but kind of ho-hum here and there. But still, you would like to see this offense do more when your defense is only allowing 20 points or less per game.
Definitely. And I thought it was another good performance from the defense. But, it comes down to a message that I think Vrabel's been preaching since that Cincinnati playoff game last year. You can have 9 sacks in a game. You can only give up 20 points in this instance. But, it's all about turning the ball over, getting the ball back to your offenses, more chances to score. And, it sucks for a defense to have to be judged by that metric, because turnovers are really hard to come by in the NFL in a lot of cases. But, at the end of the day, you felt in this game that the Titans defense was going to have to get a turnover to win the game. And it didn't happen, and the Titans didn't win the game. And it sucks because I thought the offense had a good day. I thought the offense could move the ball. Yes, they disappeared.
We were forced
it several times, but yes,
we were forced to pass the ball, but it was working at times. Like as far as Henry pretty much being shut down in the game, the offense was still able to move the ball with Ryan Tannehill, as you were saying.
Absolutely.
So,
and we were right there with the Bengals in terms of yardage gain throughout the entire game. It was neck and neck throughout. I don't know what the ending yardage was, but we move the ball really, really well, and it's all about converting those red zone trips, especially with this offense, who can disappear for an entire quarter at a time, who can go, lengths of time without even producing a first down, and your defense is still only giving up 20 points to one of the more lethal offenses in football, albeit without Joe Mixon or Jamar Chase, but still giving up only 20 points on the game. Should have been 23. And we should have had a shot to go down and tie it at the end. Would it have mattered? Who knows? Couldn't tell you. But I don't know. We can get into that if you would like.
Yeah, the defense still the bend but don't break. You would have liked to see them at the end force a punt instead of letting the Bengals go all the way down and get an easy field goal position. But still, even so, the defense still was doing its job in terms of giving the offense a chance, an opportunity to get the ball back and to go down and score a touchdown to tie, or how Vrabel sometimes gambles, to go for 2 and win the game at the end. But that didn't even happen, Jay, because it's the huge special teams gaffe that didn't even give the Titans a chance, dude. What a horrible, pathetic ending. So anticlimactic to end the game. I mean, I would have loved to have seen what Tannehill could have done through the air with right at 2 minutes to go, even with no timeouts. That would have been an exciting finish to see. But 97, his name is escaping me, but
Kevin
he did
Strong.
not. Yeah, and you know what? That rule escaped me. I did not know you could not harm or or run into and run over the long snapper. But as a special teams coach and being a professional and playing that play and that down on field goals and extra points, you have to know that. You have to coach that. You have to remind guys that. But yeah, and I think he like grabbed his face mask and like threw him backwards, if my memory serves. So yeah, like can't do that. Just a dumb penalty. And why are we? And I tweeted this out in the heat of the moment. Why are we trying to block a field goal so hard too? Like that was a chip shot field goal. It's not like a long 50-yarder to make it a 7-point game. This is going in 99.9% of the time. So I mean, I like I appreciate the aggression and all that, but man, not to the point where you're going to commit a foul. So yeah, just disheartening way to see that game end after all that, when you thought, there would still be a chance for the offense.
Absolutely. And, there were a couple of times, obviously, you got flashbacks to that playoff game, and just the thought of a 2-minute drive, Ryan Tannehill to go win it. I was getting a few flashbacks, and then obviously talk about the rug being pulled out for the third time in this video. But yeah, maybe then the game it's over.
Yeah, maybe that foul saved us from seeing another Ryan Tannehill throw into quadruple coverage and getting picked off, and us being real mad at Tannehill all over again. A real bad
silver linings, man. You never really know what could have benefited in the time.
Yeah.
But going back to what you said, you appreciated the aggression, you appreciated the physicality, something this Titans team is known for, Justin. I hate to say it. Again, I hate the Cincinnati Bengals, but hats off to them. I thought they came in and played the more physical ball game, and it was evident from the opening possession. I got to give it to Samaje Perine on the day. His stat sheet might have not blown you away. He was over 100 yards total on the day. But one of the first Bengals plays from scrimmage, he stiff arms and bounces David Long off the turf. And I thought, like, this wasn't, Joe Show or who am I thinking of? Joe Jones or Dylan Cole or any of the, lesser known linebackers on this team. This is David Long. This is our guy, David Long, most hard-nosed dude on the team, probably one of the more physical guys on the team behind Jeff Simmons. And he gets bounced on one of the first plays of the game. And it was evident that Bengals offensive line was pushing. Samaje Perine seemed like he was 5 yards every single carry on the day. And he talked about a guy who ran hard. So I got to give it to Perine and that Bengals offensive line for just playing the more physical game. And it was evident, Derrick Henry only 38 yards on 17 rushes. Samaje Perine also had 17 carries. He only mustered up 58 yards, but still, I just feel like he had tons of gashing runs in important moments, and especially that stiff arm on David Long was a real eyebrow raiser.
Yeah. I mean, the tone setter, and they came to play. Real. And we have no excuse. We don't have any excuses, Jake. This team was coming in like as healthy as we've been all season long. We are only really missing Danico Autry right now, and he does make an impact when he's on the field, but still, like we had everyone in place, and Cincinnati just came in and took it to us. We're more physical. They executed. Guys made plays. T. Higgins clutch and Burrow hanging in there. I still was disappointed that our defensive line, did not generate as much pressure. As good as they've been this whole year. We got Dupree back in the lineup. Big Jeff, had 10 days, the long mini bye week to rest his ankle. It kind of kills me to see, this team got 9 sacks against Joe Burrow in the playoffs. And I think it's more or less the same offensive line that's in place for Cincinnati. So yeah, the lack of pressure, Cincinnati came in and played a better game. So, as much as we hate the Bengals and have our signs and everything, we're giving them a lot of praise and love, Jake, and some of their players playing well, and it doesn't make me feel good or comfortable.
I'm sorry, man. I just that was one thing that really stuck out to me watching that game was how hard Samaje Perine was running. But granted, going back to this Titans squad, man, what is the realistic expectation moving forward as far as this team is going to make the playoffs, Justin? It would take a titanic, no pun intended, collapse. It would take a historical collapse of this team to not win the AFC South and not be in the playoffs come January. So, where do we go from here? I know we kind of mentioned this in last week's episode, but we're just sitting here kind of biding time, figuring out what this team is. And we kind of know what this team is. I said it in the jump. It's the same Titans team we've been watching for decades. And it's just, what expectation should I have, Justin? What expectation do you have for this team to accomplish anything great? Because they're going to be a 3 or 4 seed come playoff time, and they're going to be hosting a playoff game.
Yeah, they certainly will be a one and done if we see an offensive performance like we did on Sunday. I hate to say that. I mean, the good thing is you feel like you can rely on this defense to keep you in the game up until the fourth quarter, until if the offense can generate anything. But yeah, it's hard to see this team, making any significant moves in the playoffs this year. I mean, thank goodness for the AFC South. But hey, don't look now. But the Titans go on the road against Philadelphia next week. 7-5, it could easily be within our sights here. And if the Jacksonville Jaguars win their next game, they're going to be 5-7. We still have to play them twice. I'm not saying, I'm not saying anything, Jake. I'm just throwing things out there. But in terms of the Titans winning the division, hosting a playoff game is very likely. So yeah, it's hard to get excited about this team going on a run. I mean, anything can happen in the playoffs. And I mean, look at Cincinnati last year. Nobody expected them to go on the run that they did and get hot and make it to the Super Bowl. So there's plenty of football left, but we do know this Titans team, as you said. We know. I mean, what are we expecting? The Titans are going to suddenly figure it out and put up 28 plus points per game. Often scoring 4 touchdowns in a game would be a miracle at this point. So it's just going to have to be a grind out, gritty team. Got to come in and out physical the other team. Execute and not beat yourself. I mean, this team is the thinnest of margins, and when we're on. What we do well, we can do really well and wear teams down and make them play ugly football. We've seen that a lot this year, but when the offense doesn't give you enough, doesn't give you that red zone efficiency, then it's going to be hard to win. So I'm probably going to try and make a home playoff game in Nissan Stadium and would love to be there and would love to see the first home playoff win since 2002?
Joe Nedney.
I think the Joe Nedney kicker flop game. Yeah,
what
wonderful.
flop, Justin? He was run into. Somebody ran into him. Yeah.
He got ran into. He was bleeding. I mean, I think he went to the hospital. I mean, it was brutal. It was a brutal injury for our kicker. Anyway, and it would be super fun and exciting to see the Titans bring home a home playoff win, and that would be a fun atmosphere. Would make the season exciting, but obviously the goal is the Super Bowl, and it's hard to say that expectation is there at this point. Was it ever really there? Were we really expecting a Super Bowl run this year? I mean, yeah, no. It sucks. We're 7-4 and crying doom and gloom because we may not win a Super Bowl this year. But I mean, this team is still, this team is still good. We're first in the division. We'll go to the playoffs. Hopefully, get a win. Yay! Maybe that's just the ceiling for Titans football. Maybe that's all we'll ever be, Jake.
Justin, I'm going to need more optimism than that.
Sorry, we have Todd Downing. We need to fire some people and hire some O-linemen before I can get really optimistic.
I get you, man. And it's going to be an interesting shakeout after the season. We shouldn't even be talking about after the season, but you're going to see it talk about a lot of names that are probably going to be churned over, just the way the cap is set up and the way this team is being paid right now. But, you're looking at the Lawans walking. You're looking at possibly the Bud Dupree walking. You're looking at a whole new kicking situation. Randy Bullock could be cut. But,
Ben Jones. I mean, just
Ben Jones.
The list finally goes running into injury issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The list goes on and on and on. So this might be the last, dance, so to speak, with the current Vrabel era Titans, 17 at quarterback, 22 in the backfield. I don't think they're going anywhere necessarily, but I'm saying just the added nucleus of this team is going to change after this season. So it's going to be interesting to see what this team comes up with. And, the optimist in me, Justin, says it's all you have to do is win 3 or 4 if you want to win the championship. Win 3 or 4 games in January, and that's all it comes down to. Just get hot at the right time, win 3 weeks in a row, and you're playing in Glendale, Arizona for the Super Bowl. That can happen to anybody. We've seen 9-7 teams win the Super Bowl. We've seen 10-6 teams win the Super Bowl. I don't think ever 500, but I don't think this Titans team will be 500.
No.
But I'm saying we've
Literally,
seen worse teams put it together, go on a run, and make a Super Bowl. So, we always bring up the phrase it's a good time to be a Titans fan. All in all, we have a multi-game lead on the division. If we take care of business in the division, speaking of those two Jags remaining matchups, if we just take care of business in the division, we'll wrap this up immediately, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think the magic number is 4, I believe.
Colts play tonight, so it could be
Colts
3.
play tonight. Yes.
Yeah.
But exactly, it could be 3, and there's still 5 or 6 weeks left to play. It would take a huge collapse. So I was just interested to pick your brain on what you think this playoff team is going to look like, Justin, because we're going to have to put on our brave face. Will probably be the Saturday at noon time slot on Wild Card Weekend, like we always are.
Right.
But we're going to have to play a Miami, or we're going to have to play maybe a Baltimore or a Cincinnati, depending on how that shakes out.
I mean, how scared are you? I mean, we kind of bring this up on a weekly basis now, but looking at the whole AFC playoff field, talking about the Titans prospects and going on a run, we were really encouraged what we saw in the loss in Kansas City when we had Malik Willis out there. Had Ryan Tannehill been there, you really like to think the Titans would have won that game. So Chiefs on the road looking good. It's just that this loss just really sucks and it's deflating and it kind of hurts those expectations. But in the broad sense of the AFC playoff picture, the Bills are, kind of struggling. They barely won on Thanksgiving against the Lions, who have also seemed to have turned things around a bit. But Josh Allen turning the ball over, I think they're more beatable than what they looked like in week 2 against us. Miami could be scary as well. Jacksonville. The Ravens just lost to Jacksonville, so the teams are beatable. There's no invincible team here in the AFC. So maybe there could be a run. Of course, yeah, we're all going to put on our brave face when we see our Titans step onto the field and Todd Downing leading the offensive charge. So yeah, I'm sorry I keep putting a pessimistic flair on this, but in any given Sunday, any given Saturday, wild card Saturday or Sunday, Jake, and then
absolutely
on to the Super Bowl. It could happen. Just get hot at the right time. Be healthy by the end of the season is always important. So. I don't know. I mean, do you have actual expectations? You think this team can make a run?
The fan in me, yes, but the realistic person who watches week in and week out and spends, 6, doing these videos combined, I spend about 6 to 7 hours with this team every single week. And, putting in those shifts, yes, I call them shifts. Yeah, I better be starting to get paid from Miss Amy for watching this team.
Free. What are we doing?
But the guy who spends a lot of time watching this team and analyzing their performance, thinking about it, no, Justin, I don't think this is a Super Bowl team. But I said that last year, and we ended up all of a sudden after 18 weeks having the number 1 seed. I said that after the Jets loss. I said this is not a Super Bowl team. And, in just a couple short months, things can change a lot. And we have a whole month to go with the end of this season. Imagine, if the Titans go into Philly and win, which would be the most Titans thing ever, drop the revenge game against the Bengals, go where you're going to be probably a touchdown underdog into Philadelphia and win that game. That would be very Vrabel-esque. But, I don't know. We'll see. This team can get hot. This team could start clicking. The Treylon Burks edition. He's got 180 yards over the last 2 games. That has been a big plus as far as maybe this ball could start to roll if teams start to respect Treylon Burks in the passing game a little bit. But again, you're counting on a rookie who hasn't really played a whole lot of games this season to come in and save everything. That seems a little pie in the sky to me.
Yeah. I appreciate the realism and the realistic takes. We can't be too biased. This channel has always been like Super Bowl every year. It's a lock, 17-0 or 19-0 with the playoff record and all that. But yeah. So it's been kind of a pessimistic turn on things, and just what's the realistic chances for the Titans? But points of optimism, like you said, that have been developing mid-season is the Treylon Burks. You like seeing how he's come along. Really like seeing, I thought Austin Hooper had some nice plays as well, being integrated into this offense. Is Kyle Phillips going to come off IR this week? I think there's some rumblings about that. So and you did like to see the passing offense do some things and move the ball when the running game was completely shut down. So there are some things that we can point to and see, okay, we are encouraged by this. Burks, Hooper here. Can we get Chigakonkwo more involved? I mean, sure, that this team does have the talent to make it happen and make things click and get hot. So I don't know, we can kind of rest on that and then hope that the defense, keeps doing their thing. Solid, not world beaters, but very, very solid. Almost a lock that they're going to hold the opponent to 20 points or less at this point. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the Titans are just such a weird team. They're so unpredictable. Like you said, going on the road against Philly and winning would be the most Titans thing ever. And then we're probably going to drop a division game right after that. But when they're on, like I said. And when things are happening for them on Sundays, making the opponent play bad football and grinding out a win and beating you and wearing you down, this team can beat any team. I mean, it is the NFL. Jacksonville just beat the Ravens. So there you go.
Absolutely.
So it's just, just at the end of the day, we just had a bad day. We just had a bad Sunday. Players were not executing. I was kind of going to bring this up, kind of a specific Todd Downing gripe, but we've seen it before this year. I saw too many 3rd and shorts, literally 3rd and 1s, and Derrick Henry is on the sideline. Dontrell Hilliard is in the game, or Tannehill is in shotgun on a 3rd and 1. I don't know. I mean, I don't get it. We don't have to give Henry the ball, but his presence on the field
is massive.
It is massive. Play action or just make them think run is very likely here, but then don't even play action. Just having him on the field makes the defense second guess anything in the first place. So sometimes I don't know. I think we're outthinking ourselves or something. When things seem, when it's just like line up and just move forward, it's not happening. Let's drop back and throw Jeff Swain the football. I don't know. I mean, it's that. Yeah, I don't know. Random criticism and gripe that I just remembered that I wanted to bring up. I can't go.
No, I get you, man. And I would even go to I don't think Derrick Henry's a great short yardage back, which is like an oxymoron to how he's built. But we've seen him get stacked up and stuffed on short yardage situations a lot, actually.
True.
And it's because people, if 22's in the game on that short yardage situation, you better form a wall because he's coming. And that's going back to the predictability thing we talked about earlier. It's based on personnel on the field. Any regular fan knows it. Obviously these guys grinding film all week long know it. So then
don't give it to him. That's why, that's because my point's having him on the field makes them lock in and stack the box and play action. Tannehill is always clutch and great on play action plays. So, yeah.
It's going to take some creativity and last second figuring this out to scrape this team together. Justin, do you have anything else on this Bengals game or anything as a whole to take us into the barn?
Yeah, not really. I feel like I was kind of all over the place, very ranty and rambly and foggy in the head. Just just kind of a bad game and kind of discouraging and kind of expectations kind of retake a hit. They kind of went somewhere after the Green Bay win in Lambeau Field, and then now they're kind of back to where we kind of know what this team is right now at this point in the season. But tough test against Philadelphia next week. But then I think the real season, second half of the season, will begin when we face these last 3 divisional games. When the last game of the season is, I think, against the Texans or the Jags. Either one. We're not going to have all the division games wrapped up, but those are going to be the crucial games that we need to win down the stretch to lock this thing in once and for all for the rest of the season and just see what we have come playoff time. So
definitely.
So still going to be Titans fans, still going to tighten up all the time, still going to be there on Sundays watching. Yes.
Absolutely. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you all for watching. No sweat, Justin. We'll peace out. We'll try and catch you with the Philly preview.